Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the party, because it is time to break forth the rhythm and the rhyme, and it is time to get down to that beat down. I am Logan Summit, and this is the Logan Summit Show. Welcome to it. Thank you for checking us out. We are brought to you by Newer. Hey, by the way, are you a content creator, either a pro or just getting into it? Well, go to newer.com, because I can give you pro gear at amateur pricing with 20% off with just by using that cool code Logan. All right, let's get to it. I've got DEY BUCKSHOT, aka the apple of your eye, McINTOSH, in the house today. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, man. Ready to get to next week and get this fight on.
Yo, that's what it's all about. So let's talk about right now. You are 1-1. You're coming off of a loss. How does that integrate into what you have to do mentally, physically, and be able to perform on the top level? You got to come out of that kicking, screaming, punching, jabbing, doing all those good stuff. When you come out of a loss, how does that make you feel?
It just makes me more hungry. It makes me want to find more holes in my game and to patch those holes right now before I get to the big show.
You know what? That is a really good way to look at it, because you know what? You have to learn something from your losses. If you don't learn from the losses, you'll never be able to see where you're actually going to. So that is awesome. I love that thought process on you. You know what? What is one of the biggest things that your camp has taught you after coming off? I mean, you came out of the gates screaming, running, punching, gunning, and getting that win, and then you get that loss. Now, what does your team do for you to be able to turn that into a positive?
Um, we we obviously look at the things that I need to work on. How did they beat me? Did they beat me in the strength, one of my strengths, or did they beat me in one of my weaknesses? And it's all about. I feel like I just need to I always go to the drawing board and look at when I take a loss. I've took very few, but when I do take a loss, I always look at how hard did I train before that camp.
Okay,
If I
so look, I've been focusing on your losses, but let's talk about your amateur career. You were 6-2. I mean, you were running, gunning, doing your thing overall with 2 kickboxing wins in there, by the way. And if you're not familiar with kickboxing, guess what? Turn your head to the side, because you're about to get knocked out.
sir.
That's got to be one of the biggest draws for you, knowing that you have a history in kickboxing coming into where you're at. Do you feel like you have an upper hand with the kickboxing background?
Oh yes, for sure. I I take pride in putting those matches in my amateur career. Doing those kickboxing matches really upped my game as far as MMA, and I'm so glad that I did that.
Well, I got to ask you one question. You are a father of 4. So, which is harder, being a dad or being a fighter?
Um, I would say being a fighter is harder.
Yeah.
Just with my upbringing. For me, honestly, I have a good wife, have a good supportive system.
Mhm.
So raising my kids is easy. Yeah, there's downs to it, but it's raising my kids is it's pretty easy for me.
All right. So, the next question I got to ask, let's give some props to your wife. What's the one thing that she does for you that makes it easier for you to train and be a dad all at the same time?
Um, Man, she supports me. That's the biggest thing. Like she really supports me. Like for example, for this fight camp, I just had my last hard round of sparring today. This is my last round of sparring until I focus on the big show next week. But last week she surprised me and she bought me tickets to my old gym in Colorado, Victory MMA, where a prospect fighter, Elijah Swift Smith, just made it to the UFC. So it just boosted my confidence. It boosted my confidence so much. Like I feel like I can't lose no matter who they throw me into the cage with next Saturday.
Well, that's absolutely awesome. And you know what? It tells me that you're 6 foot. Okay. And if you're coming in at lightweight, you've got to have a reach advantage against Elaine Goggins, who you will be fighting in the Real Deal Championship on May 10th. Get involved, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not part of millions.co for that fight, you will be missing out because my main man right here, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it right here. You're coming off of a loss. I know how hard that is, but I also know how much of a learning experience that is in a young fighter's career. I want you to set up that jab because guess what? The jab is the most important. It's the most important
Yes,
part of
sir. You
fighting,
know
right?
it is. You
It
know it
sets
is.
everything else up, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. All right. So, what's the one thing that you think you have over Lane on May 10th that is going to push you to the summit, if you will, uh, and push you to victory?
Um, I think I have. I don't think I know that my game's better than him in all aspects, but I think, man, I don't even want to give it out. I just want everybody, like you said, everybody needs to tune in to this fight. It's gonna be crazy.
Ooh, yo, he's not even going to give it out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you're just every day. Let's talk about some of the in and outs as a young fighter, the things that you have to go through. What are some of the trials and tribulations when you transfer from the being, let's call it a citizen, all right, into the fight game? What have been some of the trials and tribulations that you've had to overcome?
Man, some trials and tribulations I had to overcome, man. Definitely taking taking that first loss, you really see who's with you. You really see who's on your side, man. Because you can be win. I mean, I went on a 3 fight win streak at the start of my amateur career.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, 3 fight win streak. Soon as you lost, man. Soon as you lose, took my first loss, man, and those doubts come in your head. The trials was like, dang, am I really ready for it? Am I ready to go pro? Am I ready for the next level, man? And then that's really when your teammates step in, your coaches. That's when I think when you take that first loss, because not everyone's not Floyd Mayweather, everyone's not John Jones. When you take that first loss, how can you bounce back? And it really takes a team to bounce back.
It
It
does.
really does.
A team builds the village, or whatever that whole old saying is, but it's true, especially in the fight game. The camp does determine how you are going to be able to fight. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Look, I'm 46. I've been watching fights since I was in second grade. My first fight was World War II, Hagler against Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh,
And yeah, and that's how old I am. All right. So I've been watching the fight game for a very, very long time. And the one thing I can tell you is I've noticed that when fighters get a little bit set in their ways, when they switch up teams, it makes a difference. So what I'm getting at is finding the right team is so very important, and finding the right team at the right point in your career is
yes.
also very important because you're just getting into this. Obviously, you have a great amateur career. You did some great things there. But now you're looking to make your way in the world today, and it's going to take everything you got, especially in this fight game. So what's the one thing, and please, by all means, give some props to your team and everybody with you. What is one of the one things that you have taken out of camp and said, yes, I am going to use this. I am going to get in there. And you know what, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, what's the one thing that your team has really allowed you and given you that you think you're going to go out there and really throw it at Lane Coggins?
Man, I'd say the main thing is that I'm going to really throw at him. I think he's going to be real shocked. Is my power and my just how accurate I am. I'm a sniper. Once I get into that rhythm, I just have to go out there and be first. If I go out there and be first, and I catch him with that first jab, it's over from there. And I just have to build off of that. And after that, the rest is history.
Well, in wrestling, which is the basis for MMA, they always teach you
Yes,
shoot first, right? Shoot
yes,
first,
yes,
don't be second, always go first. And look,
yes.
the great part about MMA and why we love it so much is because it's not just about the ground game. It's not just about boxing. It is about all of that. And what do you think? And I'm going to ask you a question right here that you're not going to want to answer, but I got to ask. What do you think is your weakest part of your game right now?
I think I think the weakest part of my game right now is hmm. I would say right now the weakest part of my game. I don't know, man. I can't even answer it. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling so confident right now, and I feel like I did everything perfect this camp. And
That's
I
great.
right now I don't see any weaknesses right now in my game.
You
I
know
don't see
what?
any weaknesses.
We'll give you some love for that because you know what? I believe in you and you have to believe in yourself.
Yes,
And
sir.
you have to get down to that dirty place where you get involved. So I got a couple other questions for you. Um, Real Deal Championship. What was the reason that you decided to go with them for this fight? Let's talk about the promotion. Let's talk about the great things that they're able to do for you and other fighters.
Um, Real Deal Promotion. I fought with them a few times. The one thing I would say they're good at is setting up fair fights. I mean, my amateur career, I've never fight, and I've started fighting with a totally different promotion. They looked at my record, and they've always put me with fair matchups. I mean, if you go down my record as on my amateur career and my two fights in pro career, my amateur career, I fought nothing but undefeated fighters.
Yeah,
But one guy wasn't undefeated. The rest of my fighters in my amateur career were undefeated. So I didn't fight anyone that I could just walk through.
right.
And then if you look at my pro career for Real Deal, were debut fighters. I've never fought anyone that was given to me, and I give Real Deal Promotions props for that. They always try to set up fair fights.
That's great. Now, your first fight, you beat Jackson Parks with a submission. It doesn't tell me what submission you beat him with. Would you please enlighten us with how you choked or broke or did whatever? What was the submission that you used?
Man, okay, it's funny enough. I caught him in a standing rear naked choke.
No, standing.
Standing rear naked choke.
Oh, oh, come on. You know better than that, Jackson. Well, you know what? You'll learn from your mistakes. And you know what? Tristan was a good learning experience for you. I love where you're at headwise, brother. I love it. I have seen a lot of fighters over my 46 years, and I love where you're at right now. Are you ready to play the game that all the kids are talking about across the nation? It's the game that everybody wants to play. It's called 5 Questions. Are you ready, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. First and foremost, numero uno. Favorite fighter growing up?
Ooh. Okay. Not favorite fighter now. Favorite fighter growing up. I
Yeah.
would have to go with Rampage Jackson.
Hex, yes. I work with Fight Circus. I do commentating with Fight Circus. Rampage Jackson is part of that. I love him. Dude, when I was growing up, to be honest with you, um, obviously Mike Tyson was huge. It started Sugar Ray Leonard because I'm old, and then it's Mike Tyson. But then when I got into MMA, Boz Mother effing Rutan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pancrase. I found Pancrase at like 17. Oh, and then UFC came out when I was around the same age. Oh my gosh, I got so involved, and I am so excited to see you just get involved and get there.
Yes,
Come
sir.
from a kickboxing, boxing, and now you're doing the MMA. I am so excited for you. Next question, question number 2. Let's go. More fun to watch, WWE or UFC?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
If this was the kid me, oh, that would be tough. I'm gonna have to go with. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with the UFC. I'm gonna have to go with the UFC.
Yeah, well, obviously Dana might be watching, so we don't want to make him upset. But who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Favorite wrestler growing up? Oh,
Yeah.
that's hard. Um,
Oh, come on, just give me one. Right off the top of your head, who are you thinking?
One off the top of my head, Randy Orton, man. I used to
Ah,
love
there you
Randy
go.
Orton.
There you go. I can go with that. I used to be a wrestling manager in ECW and NWA. If you can believe that, we'll talk about that off camera sometime. I've got the next question. Question number 3. This one's a hard one. The kids are gonna want to know though. Kendrick or Drake? What's up?
Oh, Kendrick. I have to go with
Yes,
Kendrick, man.
yes.
I have
Let's
to go with
go.
Kendrick.
Yeah, let's go. Hey Drake, you're so sorry. Every song is a sad song about how you could be better, your girl could be better. At a certain point, bro, suck it up. You're $100 million plus dude. Suck it up and just go with what it is, bro. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Eminem did that for like 2 albums. It didn't work out. All right. Question number 4. This kind of goes back to something we already talked about. What is your favorite submission?
Ooh, right now my favorite submission. I'm gonna have to go with the Darce choke. That's my favorite
Oh, yeah.
submission right now. That's my favorite submission.
All right. I'm going to put money on you to win with a Darce choke. So I'm going to need you to go out of your way to make that happen. I'm going to put the $100 down. I'm going to get involved. We're going to go. We're going to do it. It's going to be badass. I am going for you. All right. Question number 5. And this is old school. You might not have done it, but I got to ask, have you ever actually beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
No, no.
Neither have I, if it makes you feel any better. And we could go on the internet and figure out what what the system is to beat them. And I still can't do it. You know why? Because I don't have a face tattoo. I don't have any lions, tigers, and bears in my backyard. And you know what? I am not Iron Mike Tyson. All
Right.
right. All right. I'm going to let you go in just a little bit, but I got to ask you a couple questions here. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? That's easy. Pasta. Any type of pasta. Spaghetti, lasagna, um, baked ziti. Any type of pasta. That's my favorite food.
All right. Is there any brand that, like, as soon as you're done with weighing, you immediately go and have to have?
Any brand?
Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, do you go for Twinkies after you get your weigh-in? What's like the first thing you go for?
Okay. The first thing I go for after weigh-ins is a Pedialyte. I'm
Of course you do.
dehydrated.
Of course you do. Of
But
course.
as
You
far
know
as
what?
food,
Yeah. Well, you know what? That makes perfect sense. Now, so we know Pedialyte is one of your favorites, but as you're going through training camp and as you're going through weight cuts and all of this stuff, do you have any particular a brand that you like to wear when you do cuts that you feel like, I don't know, whether it be mental or actually helpful, that you feel, hey, this is what I got to wear when I go through this? Because I know, when I was wrestling back in the day, when I was a teenager with just a little bit of gold in a pager, I used to read Word Up magazine with Salt and Pepper, Heavy D up in the limousine.
right?
I used to wear the same stuff and felt like comfortable in that skin. Is that something that you
Yes.
do?
Yes, that does make sense. So yeah, especially when I'm cutting weight the last day, getting those last few pounds off, I do like to wear my sheath gear. Um I like wearing my sheath gear when I'm cutting weight. It's real just real comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. It makes you feel better. It makes the weight come off way easier.
All right, man. Yo, Day, Buckshot. Let's last question. How did you get the nickname Buckshot? Because obviously somebody wanted to call you the apple of their eye or something along those lines, with your last name being McIntosh.
So the way I got my nickname Buckshot, when I was in high school I used to run track. And I remember it was a four by 400 relay. I was the last leg, and I was catching someone down. And I remember someone in the stadium yelling, "It was like that boy's faster than a buckshot." And I just thought that was so funny, and I just ran with it. And then I was always took that with everything I've done. So
Well,
now that's
you
my
know what?
nickname for MMA.
Well, I absolutely love it. It's a great nickname, and it's because you're going to fire hard, you're going to fire strong, and you're going to fire all over the neck, chest, breast, and body area. Keep those ones and twos going. Keep those body shots. Go upstairs, downstairs, and back upstairs again. And if you can finish with a dart stroke, you're going to make me money.
Yes,
I
sir.
Let's end up with all your sponsors, all of your teams, everything. Tell everybody what they need to know, how they can get in touch with you and your fights, and obviously see you at the Real Deal Championship on May 10th, right here on millions.co.
Yes, sir. I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors. Ellis and Moore accounting company. Give a shout out to my sponsor Candace with Lake Hamilton Realty. Want to get a shout out to just all my teammates, all my fans. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. You will not regret this. You can reach me on my Instagram at BUCKSHOT_day. You can reach me on my Facebook at Day McINTOSH. And yeah, just be ready to tune in for the show. It's gonna be a crazy one. You don't want to miss this.
You're guaranteeing a win, obviously. You're not going
Oh
to
yes,
tell me
sir.
that you're going to lose, right? Because you are Mr. Positivity over here. So I can't wait to see what happens in the future. I know that Lane Goggins is going to have his work cut out for him that night. You are going to throw that pedal to the metal and get that ground and pound and do what you do. I'd love to see another submission, though. You got one. You called out the dart choke. We're calling it right now. I'm not interviewing Lane. Hey, Lane, what? Were you busy? You didn't want to chat? All right, we'll get you next time. But next time, you're going to be coming off of a loss. Day, you are nothing but awesome. Thank you so
Yes,
much for being
sir.
here. That is Day, Buckshot, McIntosh! And they will be fighting right here on millions.co at the Real Deal Championship on May 10th. Be here or be square. I'm
Yes,
Logan
sir.
Summit. And you know what? This has been brought to you by Newhouse. If you love great furniture, whether it be in your office or in your home, and please tell me you're not sitting in a gaming chair right now. No one sits in a gaming chair. Buy a real chair like a boss. You think Rick Ross is sitting in a gaming chair right now? No, he's sitting in a Newhouse chair. Go to newhouse.com. Use code Logan Radio Rocks. It'll save you money. And you know what? Hey, keep it here. Make sure that well, you know what? Let's just do this. Be good to yourself and be kind to others.
Yes,
Pay
sir.
it forward, play it forward. Rock like a party star, party like a rock star. Smile strong, laugh loud. Last but not least, please like, follow, and subscribe. Get down with Dave McIntosh because this is the future of MMA.
Yes,
I'm Logan
sir.
Summit, and if you can't be quick, well, you know what? Just get out the way. We'll see you soon. Everybody loves a good fight.